Hey everybody, it's Eric from EPAutos.com, your libertarian car guy. You may have heard that Hyundai apparently, reportedly, is going to be opening a manufacturing facility in the United States, and this is being taken as evidence of the efficacy of Trump's tariff threats. And maybe so. That may be so, though I suspect that probably Hyundai had been planning this for some time prior. After all, we're only, less than 3 months into Trump's presidency, and more than likely something like this takes a great deal longer than that to plan. But in any event, I think the whole debate kind of sidesteps the question, or rather the really important consideration, which is why have so many car companies and other manufacturing enterprises offshored? Why have they left the United States to manufacture things in other countries such as Mexico and China? The answer is because it costs less to manufacture things in those countries, of course. But that sort of begs the question, well, why is that? And the reason is because of the regulatory apparatus in this country that's made things so expensive. And yes, I know, certainly as regards car manufacturing, the unions are a factor, but I don't think that that is the determining factor. We've had unions in this country, it's the beginning essentially of the car business, certainly for at least the last 60, 70 years. Indeed, we had them at the apogee of the U.S. car manufacturing industry back in the 50s and the 60s, when General Motors alone, just GM, had about 50% of the entire North American market to itself. So it's probably not union costs. It is, in fact, regulatory costs. People in the business will tell you that. Heck, anybody who has a business will tell you that the cost of regulatory compliance in this country is just crazy. Even to the extent of, if you're trying as a small business wannabe to open up a food truck, just to go out and get an old van and maybe sell tacos out of the thing. Ask somebody who's tried to do that, the regulatory rigmarole that you have to deal with in order to do that. Now scale that up and try to imagine the regulatory burden faced by a car manufacturer. It's just cripplingly expensive. So, while I think Trump's instincts in the sense of wanting manufacturing to come back to the country are great and good, and I certainly support it, I don't see how it's going to happen without a retrenchment, dialing back, or even elimination of the regulatory regime. And the compliance regime, in addition to that, that's a secondary factor. And I've talked about that and written about that many times. And when I say that, what I refer to are the cost-adding things, regardless of where a vehicle is manufactured, that really, I think, arguably ought to be none of the federal government's prerogative, and specifically such things as how many miles per gallon the car that you choose to buy gets, and also such things as safety, which has nothing to do with whether a vehicle is safe to drive. Really, it just has to do with whether it has, however many airbags it needs to pass federal safety crash testing and so on. Those are things I think that properly belong between the buyer and the seller. In other words, free enterprise, the free market, not the federal government. If those things, those obstacles were taken out of the way, and if the over-the-top regulatory regime that makes it so expensive to manufacture anything in this country were to be removed, dialed back, what have you, I don't think we'd have any problem at all encouraging manufacturing in this country. We'd probably have new manufacturers springing forth to meet the desperate need for affordable and interesting and fun to drive cars, among other things. So that's my 50 cents this morning. There will be a piece up at EPAutos.com tomorrow having to do with this interesting business of supposedly 1 million people having put down reservations to buy a Cybertruck, when only about 47,000 of these things have apparently actually been delivered. So there's something fishy about that, and the article will get into that. If you're interested in that, come on by EP Autos and check it out, and we'll have more for you again soon.